Hi guys, so here we are, the Open 2020. I know it's been a long 6 months since the last one. It feels like it was only yesterday, but here we go again, ready for another season of competitive CrossFit. Okay, so obviously the first workout's been released. I know some of you have had a go at it already, but I just wanted to put this video together to give those of you that haven't done it yet a few hints and tips, and then for those of you that do it again, perhaps a few different things to think about before you do your redo. Okay, so obviously this workout, very straightforward, 10 rounds, 8 ground to overhead, 10 burpees over the bar. So it looks very simple on paper, obviously it's simple in practice. Essentially you've got 100 burpees, 80 ground to overhead to do. Obviously you've got that time cap there, 15 minutes. For a lot of people that's going to be something which they're striving to get it under. But for the top guys, you're going to be looking at times, around the 10-minute mark. That's going to be a really good kind of elite time for this workout. Okay, and what this workout obviously comes down to, typical of the first open workout of the year, is work capacity. Okay, so it's purely a case of how consistent you can be whilst working at a fast pace over those 10 rounds. Okay, a lot of people could probably do one round of this workout in under a minute, but it's being able to maintain that round after round with that minimal drop off. It's just really going to set people apart. Okay, so obviously first thing we'll go through is your warm up. So obviously, like I say, for this workout, it's very much just a work capacity workout. Okay, so obviously you've got a lot of shoulder work with the overhead and the burpees. So you want to make sure that, especially if you're particularly tight in your shoulders before you start doing anything more dynamic, you've done a good piece of mobility work, specifically focusing on your shoulders, all right, but then also focusing on your hips and your hamstrings. There's going to be a lot of hinging at your hip through both movements, the burpees and through the ground to overhead. So you want to make sure that your hips and your hamstrings, plus the whole posterior chain, is as mobile as possible before you start, so you're moving as efficiently as possible. Okay, obviously from there, then I just want you to just fit. Obviously these two movements are very straightforward. Okay, so warm up your snatches or your ground to overhead to the working weight. Obviously RX, 95 pounds for guys, 65 pounds for ladies if you go in RX, and just warm up to it. Okay, you don't need to do anything too crazy yet. Just make sure you get that you're comfortable with the weight, and use that time to really focus on your technique. Okay, so obviously if you're doing snatching, all right, you could muscle snatch. It's going to get you through the first few rounds nice and quick, but you're also going to blow up in the later rounds. Again, it's a lot of shoulder work in a muscle snatch and then in the 100 burpees. Okay, so I'd say you just want to focus on a really efficient power snatch. So by that, what we mean is obviously making sure at the top, obviously you're getting the lockout so you get a good rep, but then not spending too much time at the top of the lift. As soon as you've locked it out, start bringing that bar straight back down. Don't bring the bar to your hip and stop. Don't resist any momentum in the bar. Let the bar carry you down. Okay, just focus on keeping your chest up, dropping your hips, so you're setting yourself up in a good position for the next rep, as opposed to letting the bar pull you forwards, being on your tiptoes and getting pulled around. Okay, so use your warm up to focus on efficiency. Okay, like I say, a good efficient power snatch is going to be the best way to go, the most efficient way to go on this workout. And then on your burpees, again, you can warm up your burpees in terms of efficiency. Obviously, again, a 2-footed step up or a 2-footed jump up and then straight into a jump over the bar is going to be the quickest way. In terms of efficiency, then generally kind of a half step, half jump, where you land in kind of a bit of a split stance and then jump over the bar is going to be a little bit more efficient. It's not really going to cost you too much time-wise. Okay, so in your initial warm-up, just have a go, play around with those different techniques and make sure you're comfortable there before you start the workout. Okay, obviously then from there, we really want to focus on getting your heart rate nice and high so that your body's already kind of prepared for the lactic acid that's about to come. Okay, so you want to work through kind of 3 rounds, an increase in intensity. You don't need to do the full reps. Okay, so what I would suggest that you do is just do 5 of the power snatches straight into 3 burpees over the bar. Start off nice and steady. Just go at a comfortable pace, give yourself 90 seconds, 2 minutes rest on the subsequent rounds. Increase that intensity to your workout intensity, so by the last round you're going flat out. Okay, from there let your heart rate come back down, and then when you feel ready, make a start on the workout. Okay, obviously the workout itself, like I say, it's a 10-round workout. It's generally going to be split into 3 sections. Okay, so that first kind of 2-3 rounds, obviously you're going to really want to push, and that's good. Make up some time, or kind of get ahead of yourself there, make up some time, but don't go to the point where it's going to come back and bite you later on in the workout. All right, now the real kind of what can win or lose you this workout is those middle rounds, kind of between round 3 and round 7 to 8. Okay, that's where the top guys will be able to just maintain a consistent pace whereas everyone else is going to start to drop off a little bit. Okay, so through those middle rounds, it's just, you really just got to focus on efficiency and consistency. Okay, so try and use the first 2 rounds obviously to elevate your heart rate, use the 3rd round to find a good pace, and then try and stick to that pace over those next kind of 4 rounds up to round 7 or 8. Okay, and once you get to round 8, that's when you want to empty the tank, give it everything you've got left to get the best possible time. Okay, so obviously in terms of that pacing strategy, there's a lot of things you kind of think about. Obviously, you've got the clock there. It's a relatively easy round for you to time your splits off. It's a short round. You can get your judge to shout it out for you. Aim for consistency on those middle rounds in terms of your movement, and then aim to try and keep your transition time as small as possible. Obviously, there's always temptation on a workout like this to have extra rest, whether that's chalking up for the snatches or ground to overhead, or just waiting in between reps of burpees, perhaps jumping over the bar, taking a second before you drop back down. All right, that's really where your mental discipline on this workout is going to come. It's where you're going to need that mental discipline on this workout. Okay, if you're not disciplined, then that time, especially in those middle rounds, is really going to slip away from you. You can go from doing kind of minute to minute and 10 rounds to easily doing like kind of 90-second, 2-minute rounds. Okay, if you're not disciplined. Okay, so obviously this workout has been put together with a specific purpose in mind to really test that work capacity, so you have to just rise to the challenge. Okay, it's going to hurt regardless if you do it fast or slow. Okay, you're never going to be able to fully recover. That's not the point of a workout. Okay, you're going to, even if you feel like you might start to recover, if you have 2 seconds or 3 seconds between each burpee, as soon as you get back on the snatches, your heart rate's going to shoot straight back up again. Okay, so just accept it's going to hurt. Focus on that consistency of your rounds, consistency in your paces, a really efficient movement. Okay, and minimize that transition time as much as possible. Okay, then obviously once you get to round 8, especially round 9, you know the end is in sight. You'll be able to see where you're at with your time. Okay, that's when you really want to empty the tank. Okay, so obviously your pace there, you want to try and get as close back to that 1st/2nd round pace as possible, so that you know that you've given it everything you've got. Okay, ideally this workout, it's not something where it's particularly technical or particularly kind of strategic, where there's a lot to gain from doing it twice. So if you can have one effort that's just an all-out effort, that's probably the best way to maximize your score, because kind of the second time is always harder when you know how it's going to feel, if it was particularly painful the first time. But also to make sure that you're managing your energy through the week and obviously into next week's workout, which I imagine will be a little more technical, either perhaps a heavier barbell or some more gymnastics in there. Okay, so there are just a few things for you to think about on 20.1. Enjoy it. Keep me updated with how you're getting on. If you've got any questions at all, give me a shout. Good luck.